All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing good today. What have we got here? All right. So the market is mostly down. We had good inflation data yesterday and the day before, but conflict stuff happened overseas and caused this big drop that you see here in the NASDAQ. Everything else is kind of down with us. You can see the SPY on the top right chart dropped a lot, on basically conflict news overseas, causing the overseas landscape to be a little bit less stable, and markets reacted negatively to this. If we take a look at gold here this morning, gold is up to almost all-time highs. It's not quite there yet. All-time highs on gold are at 3,500s, and gold is at 3440s. So gold is pushing towards all-time highs again on this conflict news, causing some fear and uncertainty. If we take a look at the VIX, VIX is all the way up over 20 this morning with the overseas conflict news going on. And so, yeah, that is the market right now. I kind of want to buy this dip in the NASDAQ with just like a little feeler trade, though. Let's see how this goes. Hold on. You know what? I think we're going to. Now, this is a challenge account, so if we fail, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean much. But I kind of want to add to this dip. We got 4 contracts. We'll take 5 here. And try to be patient on the rest. But yeah, overseas conflict news causing some instability here. If you take a look at bond yields. If we take a look at rate cut odds right now. Honestly, the odds of a cut have gone up for June. So look, the odds of a cut are now 3.1% and 97% basically odds of a pause. So still pretty probable we're going to pause rates. Still pretty improbable we're going to cut rates next week. But 3% is 3%, and I mean it still hits sometimes if you're not careful. So we'll see. I doubt it's going to happen, but it could. All right, so again, we added into this dip here. I want to see a retracement back up. Just because we're kind of hitting a previous support level, but I'm not going to hold this too long. There's a retracement. I think I maybe got in a little bit too large of size, though, so I'm going to take a third of this off. Looks like that was the right move, too, here. Let me see if we have any news coming out this morning. So the president says that the attack was excellent, end quote. All right, so I'm going to cut this. We lost a little bit quickly here. It's a challenge account, so. And we're up over 1,500 in this account. We'll see if we can make what we want today on this thing, though. I can't help but try to jump back in here. There we go. All right, we took some of that off just to reheal it. We'll take a little piece off here. And maybe add to this. And hold the rest break even, maybe. There we go. All right, we're going to cut it there. All right, so we made some back. It's not the biggest loss. Sound is loud here, guys. Wow. What's up, Keegan, Shy, Lee, K, Ryan, Trader, Brian, Trey, With, Ava, Kevin, Joseph, Keith, Rolling, CT, Robert. What's up, chat? All right, guys. So I want to buy this dip again. Let me see if we can. We got 3. I think we'll add in sizes of 3 here. But yeah, so overseas conflict news. Google's dumping down here. Let me see if there's any breaking. But a lot of stuff's falling down pretty quickly. So we are buying into some weakness, but it's early. Looks like a good dip. I'll wait. We're only down $15, $12 on this trade so far, so we'll be all right. See if we can add a little bit more to it here. Try to take some size out of this. All right, we got the 200 exponential that we'll probably add into. It's a challenge account, so we do trade it much differently. If you guys see us trade our regular account and our challenge account, we just trade it much differently. There we go. That's what we want. We'll take 2/3 of the position off there. And then cut the rest right there. All right. What's up, Jay? Yeah, I mean, the market obviously reacted negatively rolling. So the market obviously acted pretty red. I mean, you can see the dip in the SPY. Like here, we had 2 major dips. Most of them happened yesterday at around 7:30 last night. You can see these big pullbacks here. So like, look at this big dip in the SPY. If we zoom out on the NQ, we can look at that too. Look at this dip on the NASDAQ here. Just a very large drop. And now we're just kind of sitting. We rebounded some back up. But the market very clearly did not like instability overseas. If we take a look at oil here. Oil prices are surging on this news. $74 a barrel right now. So the market definitely did not like this overseas news for sure. It's definitely what's weighing in on the markets this morning. And we got a couple things. So like we got the overseas news that happened. There's currently a travel ban to those parts of the world in the UK. Stock futures plunged 1 to 1.5%. Oil went up almost 9%. Chevron, Exxon went up with it. Airlines fell 2.5 to 5%. Lockheed Martin, RTX, Northrop, L3, and more, which are defense stocks, jumped 4 to 5% this morning on this news. Remember, next week we got the Fed meeting. And so people are still pretty probable that we're going to freaking pause rates next week. If we look at July, it's looking pretty freaking probable we're going to pause rates in July as well. September is when most people think we're going to pivot to a cut likelihood with 60% likelihood of 25 basis point cut. And really, if we add these together, we have about a 74% chance of a cut by September. You know, we have about a 25% chance of another pause in September. You know, and if we look back at the meeting after September, which is October, you know, we're still showing a 13% chance that we're not going to cut by October either. 42.5% chance that we're going to get a 50 basis point reduction in interest rates by October, and then a 36.7% chance that we're going to have a 75, or no, I'm sorry, let me rephrase, this is wrong, a 25 basis point cut by October. We got a 42.5% chance, and then a 50 basis point cut. We have about a 37% chance of a 50 basis point cut by October, a 7.7% chance of a 75 basis point cut by October, and then a 0.2% chance of 100. Now, this is the most likely one here, which is 25 basis points cut in September. It's most likely that we're not going to cut it all until September, where we got a 60% chance. So at this point in time, unless the data changes, which it certainly could, the most probable outcome is this one, which is a 25 basis point cut starting in September. And so, yeah, we also today have the University of Michigan sentiment data. June consumer mood reading due later today. Last month showed near record pessimism. Any improvement could influence markets. In corporate moves, we have Micron investing $200 billion. Massive expansion in the U.S. chip making that could shift semiconductor supply and labor trends. We've got Adobe beating and guiding up with their earnings, although it did slip 1.7% in pre-market. We have Chime debuting NASDAQ IPO, surged 37% on its debut. It's now in its second day if we look at Chime, which is, let me see if I can find it. Chime. What's the symbol for Chime? Anybody know? Let me know. I'll check it out. And then oil hit 2-month highs. Gold climbed up 1%. US dollar went back. If we take a look at the dollar climbed back up a little bit this morning. Major indices are still pretty close to all-time highs, though. Fed meeting next week is important. CHYM, gotcha. Yeah, here's day 2 of Chime. It's down a little bit today, but man, what a crazy IPO. Or no, this thing's down on its IPO. Where did it open? This thing opened up at 43. It's down at 37, so it wasn't the most successful IPO, actually. Yeah, looking at Bitcoin here. We can take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin down a little bit again today. Oil up. Gold up. So, we'll see what happens. But I think we got to watch oil and the SPY this morning. Yields, if we're talking about yields. Bond yields down big this morning at 4.3%, which is good after better inflation data over the last few days. Up a little bit over the last, however long this is. Up a little bit this morning in pre-market, I guess, but still down pretty significantly after the overseas news yesterday. Kind of made lower interest rate sentiment, created lower interest rate sentiment. So that's where we are right now. Let me pull Discord up. All right, so the president said he'll pick a new Fed chair very soon. What a shadow chair would mean for the stock market. There are expectations of the next Fed chairman will lean towards lower rates. The president has set off a fresh round of worrying about his approach. Said that he'll pick the new Fed chairs coming out very soon. This report came last Friday, though, so... I look at gold futures, this slash GC. They're up to $73 a barrel right now, 73 for a barrel for oil. Gold currently at $34.42 an ounce. Here's gold at the bottom right. So... Yeah. Do y'all think all this stuff going on overseas is bullish for Bitcoin? I'm reading the president's quote regarding the overseas conflict, and it's getting heated over there, man. I'm still reading. The president said that, yeah, I can't really cover this stuff. It's honestly too controversial. So, yeah, let's do a poll here, chat. Again, we got Michigan consumer sentiment today. Will the market rebound from its overnight drops? From its overnight, what's the best word? From its overnight retracements. Will markets rebound from their overnight retracements? This morning. Yes or no? Vote on that poll. Poll is live. Yeah, well, defense stocks are going to be rallying regardless of anything else this morning based off of stuff going on overseas. Bond yields are down since inflation data came out, but up a little bit this morning, but not too much. Yeah, I'm just kind of reading more on stuff going on overseas. Yeah, we got, again, another big thing is going to be consumer sentiment data coming out. We have inflation expectations, and this is the prelim data. And remember, guys, I should have held this position because I was buying it way down here. So I was buying it all down here. I thought we would rebound back up. We were pulling into this resistance level just to show you guys, like, the resistance level I was paying attention to was right here. And so as we traded closer and closer to that, we even had this top, like literally exactly where it was. And then we had this top right here, and you can kind of see the correlation. Like, look, the reason I watch like what I call isolated levels up here, isolated level, is because eventually the market can respect it, like here and here. And so we'll be watching these levels now. Yeah. All right, so we had India deposit growth come in at 9.9%. Indian FX reserve show up at 696.66 billion. Indian bank loan growth show up at 9%. Apple's up a lot this morning too. So take a look at Apple here. We got gold. Apple just rebounded and retraced all the way back up. It's testing 200s right now. That's one of the reasons the market might fly back this morning as well. Yeah, but it's when I say influence, I'm talking about it moves markets a little bit. The inflation expectations are interesting as well. Yeah, Indian bank growth at 9%. Bond yield sitting at 4.36 this morning, guys. 4.36. Yeah, so they end up surveying close to 1,000 is really what it is by the end of the month. But it's address-based random sampling across U.S. So they try to make it diversified. But it has an influence over markets, especially if it comes in really good or really bad. Now, how much of an influence we'll see, but yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to read more of the conflict news, but that's basically what's going on this morning. Adobe beat. Now we're getting kind of close to these highs. Apple just ripped up. It's just under 200. Apple at 199.60 here. The SPY's starting to kind of creep up with it. It's at 598.50s. All right, so we're still rebounding back up. We're too close to highs for me to get interested in. If we dip down to 640s or 650, really, I'll buy that dip maybe. But for now, I just got to sit tight and wait. Starting to see some rebounds, though, this morning. We got AstraZeneca signing a $5.2 billion deal to develop drugs for chronic disease with Chinese biotech. We got Ford CEO Farley saying U.S. EV market has not grown in revenue in 3 years. And some other stuff coming out this morning, but it's pretty slow. Everybody's kind of waiting on some stuff this morning. So we're creeping closer to these levels. Again, we can check out oil. Oil is an interesting play this morning, too, with all the stuff going on overseas. It's volatile, and it's dipped down a little bit. Now, I don't usually trade oil, but we'll see. And you can kind of see oil spike when everything else dipped based off of just uncertainty. Yeah, so again, $5.2 billion AstraZeneca deal. I'm checking up on other market news, but that's basically all that's going on right now. We can take a look at Nvidia as well. Again, I'm still looking for a dip. I don't really want to buy the NASDAQ up here. Nvidia down with all the stuff going on too with everything else. 145 is the previous closing price on Nvidia. We're at 143. The previous close on the SPY is 603.7. We're at 598, so we still got a ways to go. But see, Lee, it already happened, and oil's only at, what, $77? So, I mean, it makes sense. Oil's going to be more expensive with us with overseas drama. Where's GameStop at? GameStop's down pretty significantly over the last few days, right? Bro, GameStop's not even pulling up on TOS. Look, here's GME. GameStop. Okay, there it is. I don't know why it didn't pull up before. It took a while. Yeah, GameStop at $22 here. $22. Bad revenue for it, I think, is what caused this drop. Well, Sam, I'm staying out of that one, bro. 2.25 billion note offering. Yeah. No, 77 is the sweet spot for oil. There's a good show called Landman by the same guys that make Yellowstone. They talk about it there. The quote goes... All right, so we're testing highs here. Testing highs. Yeah, you want oil to live above $60 and below $90 a barrel, Monty says, with a sweet spot at $78 a barrel. You want to know where oil was at this morning? 77, 78s, almost 78s. It's at 73s right now, but this is a good spot for oil, at least for oil companies. If it's $100+ oil per barrel, it leads to oversupply, drives the price down. Stability is in $60 to $90 a barrel. Producer margins ensure investments remain profitable without encouraging risky overproduction. Keeps fuel prices manageable at the pumps and avoids inflationary spikes and political intervention tied to high energy. Strikes the balance that makes everyone happy by supporting the energy sector. Oh, dude, I don't have my wedding ring on. Yes, I'm still married. It's a little bit too small, the one I have. All right, markets are pushing up, and so I took it off in the car. Carol saw me do it. I got to go put it back on. Anyways, we're pushing up right now. We're at almost 21.7s here, 21.7s. Here's oil. SPY at almost 600s, but look at the NASDAQ push up. Highs of the day are at 21.7s. Yeah, highs of the day, 21.7s. Yeah, I've seen all of Landman. all the first season. Yeah, they were all pretty good. I liked 1923 was really good. I watched it. I didn't like the end of Yellowstone. I thought it kind of sucked. But I won't get into it. But I really liked 1883 and 1923. Those were the good ones. I liked Landman too. I like Landman some. But I also thought, like, there was some stuff I didn't like about it. But overall, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm having 0 drop frames, Sam. So it might just be you, brother. Yeah, I like Sicario. I thought Sicario was good, too. I like both 1 and 2. All right, Microsoft at 475s. 475s, GameStop at 22s, Apple at 199s. Getting ready to test 200. Oil at $73 a barrel. Gold, again, around all-time highs. Gold around all-time highs. Not quite there. Still got about $60 to go, but close enough, I would say, to put everybody on watch for gold. Yeah, I didn't see sitters yet, but it looked good. Yeah, market's right around all-time highs, or not all-time highs, I'm sorry, right around highs of the day. If we dip down to 664, I might have to try to buy it, but we need that dip down to 664. All right, we're at 688. Bitcoin's at 105s. It's down a little bit today. Yeah, Bitcoin. Oh, no. Wait. Let me see. It looks like Bitcoin dropped with everything else. And then now it's kind of back up a little bit. Still at 105s, though. So it's consolidating over 100K. I think Bitcoin staying over 100 is good. I think even if it's sideways and it doesn't move much, Bitcoin over 100K works well. People like my ringtone, apparently. All right, guys. We're sitting at 687. Honestly, bro, I need to go work out. I'm out of shape, dude. I went to the beach, bro. I'm like 182 pounds or something like that, bro. Like, that's big for me, dude. And like, I am not used to it. I gotta go train more or something, because I'm kind of heavy right now, dude. I don't like it. It's probably the heaviest I've ever been, I think. Yeah. S-bet. Oh, it's definitely my diet. What's causing me to gain weight is my carb intake, for sure, 100%. Like, I eat a lot of sweets. Is what it is. Like, yesterday, and my issue is that I overbuy food. Like, I overbuy food. Like, yesterday I ordered a pizza, and this was my order. And honestly, I got a deep dish Chicago pizza. What else did I get? I got a gluten-free pizza for my son. I got fried ravioli. I got cheese sticks. I got 3 brownies. I got, what else did I get? I know I got more. I got 2 orders of fried cheese, like breadsticks, like cheesy breadsticks. I got about 10 marinara cups. And then I think I got some other stuff too, to be honest. And then I got Italian donuts and something else. I got way too much food. Way too much food. Like, I don't even know if we're going to be able to eat all that food. So yeah. No, I don't smoke. I don't do any, obviously any illicit substances. I'm pretty clean in that regard. I know, dude. Listen. That's what I'm saying. I'm 182 pounds. Usually, I think I train enough to keep it off. All right, so look, guys, look. And again, I'm talking about this. Some people are going to be like, bro, talk about the market. Bro, we've covered everything about the market this morning, and the NASDAQ is doing this over the last 10 minutes. There's a football right here. And so I'm just hanging out. We're trying to cover stuff. There's the 8 a.m. scrum here. Let's see if we get any movement from this. But no, I wouldn't do it, Britt. I just don't know enough about it. Yeah. Yeah, we're chopping kind of sideways. Usually I think I train enough jiu-jitsu to keep it off, though. Does the link not work that I posted here? Hold on. Somebody's asking me about Topstep. So I'm still a... Oh, wow. The link doesn't work. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna post the Topstep link here. I'll just post the regular Topstep link. I should probably put the regular. Yeah, so right now what I am for Topstep is I'm a partner, a contractor right now. So they kept me on, but I'm a partner / contractor for them. Is what I am. Honestly, Topstep's a good company. Like, here, I'm gonna buy this dip here, chat. Actually, no, I think I'm gonna wait. I'm going to try shorting this dip here. It's a little late though, but I'm going to add to this and maybe short a little bit more. See if we can retrace down to the 200 exponential is what I'm going to do. Topstep's got some of the most reliable payouts. They're one of the most reliable funded account programs in the world. And so we're going to add into this retracement. Take some risk here. This is a challenge account too, so this is trying to get funded on there. We're trading a little early to trade in my funded account, I think. So we can play with this and see if we get some, like a retracement back down is what we want. But I think I might have took a little bit too much size here. We'll see. Okay. I'm going to cut a piece of this off. There we go. Nice. Okay. Alright, so we're up a little bit. Alright, so we're up. We're going to cover some of this position here in our short. There we go. We'll hold this last little 3, maybe add a little bit to it depending on where it goes. I'll hold the rest break even now too. Gonna add a little piece, make it 4 so we can get out in 2 contract increments, see if it drops some more. And again, we can hold the rest break even now. Nice. Let's keep dropping. There we go. I'm going to cut 2 of those off here. There we go. Cool. I'm going to cut a little piece here. We got 1 contract left. We'll try to hold this break even now too. But we've caught a lot of this breakdown here in this short. Nice. I'm going to go and cut that right there. All right, so we got out exactly at the bottom here, which you love to see it. I'm still slightly red on the day, but I'm going to short this little pop, I think. 3 contracts. That's it. We're not going to take over 3. I just want to see if we retrace back down to that level. I'll give it a little time here, but that's a big pop back up. I could add maybe into 5, fix the average a little bit, but all right, we'll try it. There we go. Yeesh. There we go. That's better. Okay. We'll start limiting size here since we're back green on the trade. Took a little bit off there. We'll give it some time now. There we go. I'm trying to manage it where I can protect it while I'm also can maximize profits. But we're starting to rip back up. We're about flat on the trade, but we're slightly green on the trade now. We'll give it a second here to break down some more and hold it break even. Got to be careful here. We just retraced back up pretty quick, so it's coming back down. I'm looking at the live news coming out. They're looking into aspects of the plane crash. I'm gonna cut some of this. So we got out mostly flat on this position. It just started to head back up. We'll see if we miss out on anything, but yeah, I'm checking back up in the chat. A lot of overseas conflict news coming out. I can't really cover it like that, though. People are saying tariffs haven't raised inflation as much as predicted. A reason is mystery. Tariff revenue is 3% of good consumption in May, but we don't see that in consumer prices, retailer wholesale margins, or import prices. They say inflation X tariffs has resumed its bumpy downward drift just as the Fed expected, softening housing costs, airfares, and pulling service inflation down. Core PCE 1.3% annualized in the last 3 months. Tariff could yet bump inflation up in the coming months, but odds are improving it does not become a sustained trend because labor market is loosening, unemployment to 2 decimal up 4 months straight. So just to cover some tariff news here. Archer Aviation shares are down in pre-market on an 850 million share sale dilution offering. I probably could have held this position here, this short position. Like I'm going to take one micro contract, a little feeler trade here that we will add to if we find something good. But I'd rather get in one where it's relatively meaningless. And if it goes in my direction, great, I'll add to it. If not, it's relatively meaningless, like I said. We'll give it some time. All right, so we're up, or we're down, I mean. in this position, but mostly flat. It's very small. Very small risk. Yeah, a lot of conflict news here, chat. And again, this is a challenge account, just to clarify. We'll trade our actual funded account a little bit closer to the open. We can play with it and add 2 contracts. This is pretty much meaningless. I just want to see if this triple top, quadruple top rejects it here. Very sideways action, though. I think people are waiting for more stuff to come out about the conflict stuff. And then again, we do have University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations dropping later on this morning at 10. Hey, thank you, Kelly, for becoming a member. Yeah, I stay mostly out of the the conflict news as well. I'm not going to cover any of that stuff. That's too controversial and polarized. You know what I mean? So I just try to avoid it. All right, so we're now green in this position. I could add more now, but I'm going to let it break down a little bit more first. I'm looking for 664s here. And my risk is about right here. So we got a smaller risk than reward in this situation, but I want to give it some time to wait. There we go, that's better. We'll cover half there. Almost down to that level here. We'll go ahead and get out the rest right there. And then we'll add back on the retracement candle. See if it follows back through. Add one more here. There we go. Alright, so we're basically flat on the day now, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that right there. I'm too worried it's going to bounce right here. So I think we got the reward target we wanted in the trade. We made money, which is good. Oracle. Argus adjusted price target on Oracle to 235 from 200. Mizuho adjusted price target on Oracle to 245 from 180. It's almost if there's always a world event that sways the market. As one problem is solved, another arises. 100%. I mean, that's the nature of the world and news and markets. Hey, nice, Kelly. Yeah, I don't really cover AMC, GameStop news. It's just kind of boring, and, you know, there's just not really much that goes on with that type of stuff anymore. It's a little slow, you know. The squeeze is over. It's still real to me, you know. No, it's not, but still. Yeah, 60 bounced for sure. GameStop starting a new business model, though. What's their new business model? Talk about it. What is it? I'm open to hearing it. Are they just going to acquire Bitcoin like MicroStrategy? If that's the case, I kind of like it. Yeah, I mean, they could sell Pokemon cards and stuff. But if they're trying to sell Pokemon cards like video games, nobody's going to really choose to buy from them. Like, if they're trying to... Look at this bounce. Look at this green candle. I'm trying to see if there's any breaking news. to drive it. But look at this green candle show up in the NASDAQ here. Wow. Look at the flux of buys showing up. It's a big green candle. I don't know if it's gonna hold though, but I think it's still some stuff going on overseas. All right, so we're back up a little bit. I think this is conflict news that happened. They said something about drones being intercepted. So wait, there was somebody that survived? Was it really? Yeah, where's Palantir in the wake of all the stuff going on? Palantir's down with everything else, though. So, like, Palantir's kind of down with everything else. All right, so I'm seeing some news that says India is amenable to relaxing the 50% localization it expects from EV makers and suppliers in return for incentives, according to Bloomberg. Apple up to 199.50s here. So Apple's still climbing up a lot, and I think that's one of the reasons the market is up. Apple's getting ready to test 200. Yeah, so he did survive. Yeah, so there was somebody that survives the plane, apparently. It says British man is the only passenger to survive the plane crash. He walked away from the wreckage of the Air India. He was in seat 11A on the London-bound 787 flight when it crashed shortly after takeoff. His brother said, quote, has no idea how he survived and escaped the plane as the only survivor. Sad still, but yeah. All right, look at the market rebound pretty fast though here. So the markets are coming back up a little bit. The NASDAQ is shooting back up. I stopped shorting. Oil is spiking up again. Gold is up. So kind of a slow day for market news, but a big day for news. All right, so we're heading closer to all-time highs over the last few minutes here. Look at the strength showing up in markets. We get a dip, I'm buying it. Let's try. We'll try buying it here. We'll maybe add to it. Take maybe 3, 4 contracts here. Very small. Give it a little time now. There we go. Nice. Took half off there. Took another piece off there. Nice. And we're out. Bought the dip. Our trading's been pretty good over the last few minutes though. Well, there's stuff going on overseas for sure. I'm not covering it here on this channel. It's too, yeah. It's too much. And again, remember, we got Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations going live later on today. So stick around. A lot of stuff going on today. 10 a.m. is when the big stuff drops this morning. So at 10 o'clock, we got Michigan's consumer sentiment inflation data. All right, guys. So NASDAQ's very close to breaking all-time highs. Not all-time highs. I keep saying all-time highs. I'm sorry. Very close to breaking highs of the day. We are right around highs of the day. Highs of the day are right around 703 on the NASDAQ 21,703. The SPY is at 598. We just tapped that 700 level, and now we're rejecting back down. So I'm going to mark this 700 level on the chart. Seems relevant. Let's see if we move back up and retest it, but we're right around that spot. See if we hold now. We got 4 minutes until 8:30. We don't have any 8:30 economic reports. The big news today, University of Michigan's consumer data coming out at 10. Next week, we got the Fed meeting as well. Retail sales and more. Yeah, we got the Fed meeting next week. Yeah, I'm looking at July. I don't see any big Fed speeches or anything except for the end of the day, end of the month. We got the Fed meeting. Silver's been up a lot. We're at 36.30s. Silver's been flat though since the 9th. So silver slowed down a little bit here. Yeah, his brother was on the plane too though. You know what I mean? So it's not just... Smart pullback to start the day. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting tight. If we get down to 677s, I might buy it, or 665s. Maybe 650s. But these are the levels I'm looking at now. Again, if we get down to 675 here, 675 is really the level I want right here. If we get down to here, I might buy it. But I'm not going to buy this. Again, what I told you guys was Apple is driving this. Apple just broke over $200 a share this morning. So that's one of the reasons the market's holding. All right, guys, we still it's now 8:30. We're almost down to 75. I would buy the dip, but we didn't quite hit it yet. Why don't you look at the overnight high? You mean the previous closing price? Previous closing price on the NASDAQ here is at 21,909. And so that's just really far away. We're way over here. That's up here. This is the previous closing price up here on the NASDAQ. So it's just a little bit too far away. I'm just looking at the levels I have for short-term price action, which is what I'm doing here. So like these are the levels I'm watching. They might not respect, you never know. But that's the levels I'm paying attention to. Pull back to a major confirmed support level, Matthew, mixed with extension. Like if it's too close to the previous, like if it's too small of a pullback, I don't want to buy it. If it's not to the right level, I don't want to buy it. If it's a large enough of a pullback, I get more interested in buying it. And so I need a large enough pullback here. Like I'll buy 7.5 if we dip down. But you never know. But that's what I'm looking at now. Almost there. We'll start here and then maybe add to this down to 7.5 like this. All right, look at that pop right at 7.5. See if it holds. There we go. You see, we bounced directly off of it already, though. If it continues down, though, we'll see. But this is why I wanted 75. I should have waited, it looks like. But it's all right. I'm going to reduce this by one contract here just to make it a little bit smaller. Maybe I shouldn't have because look at that rebound back up. But still, I want to reduce it by one. And we'll cut another one here. Lock in. Ride this up. Get out there. See, this is what I mean. So, like, look. So, this is why I use the levels I have drawn. So, remember, what did we say? We said 675. We literally went down and tapped exactly 675. So this is why, like, I could have attacked any of this level here, like this support level, this isolated level up here, whatever. But I'd rather look at a deep enough pullback to justify it. And look at where do we bounce? We bounce off of 675. Remember, guys, I'm not an investment professional, though. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Can't promise anything. Sometimes I trade and lose off stream, and you might not know about it. Don't copy me. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. And we might continue down. It doesn't matter, but yeah. So we're about to break highs of the day. Yeah, but I mean, you explained yourself in that comment. So I said highs of the day, meaning the highs of Friday. And then you started talking about 6 p.m. yesterday, the previous day, you know. So like, I'm actually talking about the literal high of the day on Friday. If we zoom out, you can kind of see it. Like, look, zoom. The day started here. Where was the highest level we've been since here? Right there, which is the high of the day I was referencing. Here, let me, yeah. I mean, look. I'll do it again. This is where the day started. And the highest level we've been is right here. Or something close to that. So, I'm talking about the literal high of the day. Not the high of, you know, the session. I'm talking about the high of the day. Yeah, all I'm doing to find this level is saying, hey, when did the day start? The day started right here. And this is the highest we've been since the day started. The session might be different. But we're starting to get a little choppy, though, leading into everything here. And again, if you want to check out Topstep, beautiful way to help support the channel. Topstep, they give you a 50K demo. They test your skill. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one's $50 a month. It's not the end of the world if you lose. It's limited risk, but you're still learning how to trade, risking something, which is incredibly valuable. If you pass the test, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. But prior to that split kicking in after you're funded, you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. So it's very similar to funding your own account. The risk, instead of risking 5, 10, 20, 30 grand like a lot of day traders end up doing, your risk is $50 a month for the base one per account. And you can also get a $100 one with a 100K funded account, a $150 one for a 150K funded account. No PDT rule in futures. Topstep pays out millions and millions of dollars to their traders. They're some of the most reliable in the world. I'd say they're probably the most reliable in the world, in my opinion. But you want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Of course, I'm biased because they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased. But genuinely useful for learning how to day trade. And in the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are very similar to future or to stock patterns if you trade blue chip stocks or indexes or indices. So it just makes sense. And if you want to check it out, you can go to topstep.com. A great way to help support the channel. I'll put the link up for anybody that wants to check it out. I'll pin it to the top of the page. Yeah, and I get, like, some people want to pay like, I can't judge anybody. Do your own thing. It doesn't matter what you want to do. What I will say is that almost all day traders lose money. And so you can pull the whole thing with just don't lose, bro. Well, everybody freaking loses in the beginning. Almost everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I would say 90% or more lose their first couple accounts. And so if you deposit $5,000 for your first account, let's be real here, you're probably going to lose that account. This happened to me. This happens to almost every day trader when they first start learning how to day trade. They freaking lose. And so you could either lose your own funded account that you fund yourself thousands of dollars trying to look cool, or you could limit your risk. Try Topstep's funded account program. If you fail, you're out $50. You can try again. You're still risking something, so you're learning how to trade under pressure. I think that makes way more sense. Objectively, it seems to make sense. And so again, that's my stance on it. I think that makes sense, you know. But listen, if you're good enough and you want to trade your own account, do your thing, live your life. I'm not mad at it. But personally, if I had to start over, I'd do something like this. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is coming from somebody that has traded on prop firms, as well as I started trading in 2016. All right, 2016 is when I started trading, almost a decade ago. And bro, I thought I was going to be a genius, savant, prodigy. I was going to be like, wait, what's the movie? I was going to be like the kid in Searching for Bobby Fischer, you know, but in trading, you know. Instead, I lost $5,000 in the beginning. Instead, I lost like thousands of dollars in 3 weeks. My bubble burst quick, and I realized that most day traders lose in the first couple weeks and months, in a year, 2 years probably. And so you got to kind of limit your risks, learn how to trade in a protected way, I think, and you know. But it's all love. We're testing highs of the day right now. It takes time to learn. It's like Pavlov and the dog. You got to condition yourself over and over and over again to do the right things, and that takes time, regardless of what strategies you're using, regardless of what mentor you have, regardless of what course you take, who you follow, how you learn, who your mentor is. It doesn't matter. Like, people selling courses are going to be like, yeah, bro, you just buy my course, you'll learn. No, you're not. Like, it's going to take time. You're probably going to lose for years anyway, regardless of all that stuff. And so, yeah. Hey, what's up, Faye? All right, so the UN Security Council is going to meet on the overseas conflicts later on Friday, according to diplomats. Goldman Sachs maintains its forecast that structurally strong central bank purchasing will increase the gold price to $3,700 an ounce by the end of the year and $4,000 by mid-2026 next year. OPEC Secretary General says there are currently no developments in supply or market dynamics that warrant unnecessary measures. I don't think we ever listened to Pop Smoke. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. You know? But I appreciate everybody that's still here with me. Channel's growing a lot, man. It feels good, man. It feels good. CPI, we had like 5,000 people there. That was fun. Who? We're talking about Mike Jones. You know. All right, guys. Google at 174 looks good, looks strong. AMD up to 116, still holding over $100. Apple still testing 200. Here's 200 on Apple. It's literally right here. And so big milestone area. I'm not gonna buy 675 again. I think we already bounced there, and I never attack the retest. And so here's the retest here at 675. I don't think I'm gonna attack it if it gets down there. I think I'm just gonna wait. Some understood the joke I just did. Others, you know, it's all right. Y'all might be too young. Some understand it, though. Silver at 36. Been slow, but had a big push up over the last month and a half here. Mr. Jones and Me. Stare at Beautiful Women. That's a good song too. I like it. All right, guys, we're back down to 675s. Let's see if we bounce here. Maybe we will. But I'm not going to attack the retest just because it's a little too risky for me personally. We're sideways now. All right, there's 675s. What's up, Faye, Sam, A1, Nick, Mess? Is it the market a pool full of sharks that we try to swim in it? Well, I mean, market, you know, I want to make money. Your job is to beat everybody else in the market, right? Like, that's your job. If you buy shares from somebody, you're buying from somebody that's going the opposite sentiment of you. And you want them to be wrong and lose, and you want yourself to be right and win. And that's the nature of the market. That's what the market is. That's what it's always been. And yeah, that's what we're in today. All right, chat. We got Michigan sentiment data, 10 a.m. All right, so we did dip. This is why I never attacked the retest. We dipped under 675, and look at us still coming down here. We're at 664s right now. Yeah, market typically goes up long term in general, not always. I say this, and again, I'm gonna stress this again. In general, the market goes up long term. When I say this, again, you got somebody that's mad they missed out on some gains that is like, what about 2008, bro? What about 2000? Like, bro, understand what generally means. Yes, the market goes down sometimes. Doesn't mean it always goes up. Me saying the market goes up in general does not mean it never goes down. You know, that's a ridiculous response. Anybody here that wants to make that response, I've heard it enough here. You know, listen, the market's going to, in general, go up long term. On average, including crash statistics, market goes up 8 to 10% a year, 7 to 10%, something like that. With the compounding effect of that, that's a powerful thing. If you miss out on that and you don't invest into something else, you're probably going to lose money over time to inflation. At least you're going to lose buying power is a better way to say it. And so, not an investment professional, market might crash tomorrow, but the smart move is to diversify dollar cost average into large indices and then sit. In theory, if you buy stocks that you like, blue chip stocks, you're supposed to never sell, and they're supposed to turn into generational wealth. And that's what the big boys do. But yeah, I mean, people told me yesterday the market would crash from PPI. People told me the day before market would crash from CPI. You know. Again, I'm not saying y'all are wrong. I'm just saying nobody freaking knows. And so pushing people to do one thing or acting like you know the outcome is silly and ridiculous. And, you know, usually they're wrong and then you never hear from them again. Your first year in the market, you'll think everything is manipulated against you. Then you learn some things, develop an edge, and realize the market isn't out to get you. You just sucked. Yeah, that's probably true. I could probably agree with that statement. I've always said nobody cries manipulation more than somebody that's wildly wrong about a call in the market. You know, if somebody's like, yeah, the market's going to crash, and then the market goes up 5%, manipulation, you know, it's like, man, you might have just been wrong. You always got to admit you're wrong sometimes. And that's the inevitable truth of trading. You're going to be wrong. All right, market's down to 656. Yeah, market's down, but it's not down from CPI or PPI. Market actually went up from both of those because they were lower than expected. Market ended up dropping exactly when the overseas conflict news started, which is a completely independent thing of that. Like, this is completely independent to anything that came out. I mean, they'll still probably try to pretend they were right because a lot of people just have a hard time. But completely independent thing. I used to have a bad habit of crime manipulation. Needless to say, it was the most negative year trading. Yeah, that's how it goes. I mean, I can't judge. There was a time, I'm sure, where I was like that. Yeah, even with an edge, you're going to be wrong on the time for sure. What's up, Tiny? Yeah, but you can't really knock big money for manipulating things. I mean, that's the whole benefit of having big money is that you can manipulate and influence. How to make friends and influence people. You know, there's books written about it. Like, that's the whole point of having money is to be able to do that. You know, can we really knock it too much? I don't think so. All right, NASDAQ dipping down a little bit here. Again, I'm just waiting right now. I mean, it's the prelim data, so it's usually the most volatile one. Could come in at anything. We'll have to wait and see what happens for the UMich data at 10 a.m. today. We're covering it live. It might move markets. We'll see. We'll cover it. All right, so we're hitting 664s here. Here's the 200 EMA at 650s. Apple now broke 200 and then dipped back down. NASDAQ started to turn. I'll put the SPY up here. Again, oil, an interesting dynamic here at 74 a barrel. Gold at 34.50 an ounce. I like buying the 200 EMA, but I'm going to wait here, I think, personally. Ooh. All right. Yeah, here we're at 265 or 665, so we'll see if that holds. I'm watching Apple. Here's the previous closing price at 199. I just answered that MC. All right, again, we're at 664s now. Yeah, all good. Yeah, basically, I don't know. We'll see. It's the prelim data, so it's the most volatile and variance-heavy data for the UMich Consumer Sentiment Report. So we'll see. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll cover it, though, at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll put a timer up, too. All right, so here's the University of Michigan data, and when it comes out. All right, so look at 665s, man. See, my levels work pretty well here. They don't, like, you learn about levels. They're not going to hold every time. Eventually they could break down, they could do all kind of stuff, but generally they work pretty well. Almost 9 o'clock. We'll see if the bell brings volatility. Yeah, oil up big. All right, so let's watch 650 here. Here's 650 right here. I got to look at 640 though. That's like the low of this, but we'll keep these levels up. Gold's still rising. Look at gold rise as the market falls. Apple's still green on the day, slightly green. Previous closing price for Apple, $199.20. It's at $199.57 right now, $199.57. So we'll see if it holds, but yeah, that's where we're at now. All right, so look, we tapped 643s. Look at this level hold too, man. So we tapped it. I could short the 200 EMA now, but I think there's too big of a chance that we bounce right back up here. Although gold is ripping, Apple's pushing up too, though. And so I think we got to watch like Apple. We got to watch Nvidia. All right, so we're starting to rebound back up. Let's watch Apple. Apple's about to tap 200 here, so I'm curious to see what it does. Top 3 best levels ever and worst ever. Don't copy me. Yeah, it depends on what you think is going to happen here. If you think Lee says it's not the time to buy oil, it's too late. The argument is going to be like, if you think the conflict is going to get worse, that might be an argument for oil to go up more. If you think the conflict is going to be eased, obviously oil could correct to the downside. So that's the argument. So you have to do that kind of mind experiment where you say, hey, if the conflict is expected to get worse, maybe oil is going to continue to push higher. If we expect the conflict to ease and get a little bit more stable, oil might come down a little bit, and that's what it is. It also depends on extension. Oil's right at the sweet spot right now, which is about $77, $78 a barrel. So, yeah. GameStop had earnings a few days ago. All right, so look, I told you guys I didn't want to short, and I thought we might rebound back up, and we are. Apple's still testing 200s. Yeah, GameStop does have a bunch of cash. Yeah, so again, the OPEC secretary says General affirms that there are currently no developments in supply or market dynamics that warrant unnecessary measures. This is the retest of 664. Apple's still pushing up. Nvidia down to 143s. But I mean, it's been back and forth over the last few days regarding Nvidia. And again, we'll cover the big market news again here. So we had overseas news that caused stock futures to dip last night at about 7 o'clock. Oil surged up 6 to 9%, almost $10 a barrel, boosting energy names like Chevron, Exxon. Airlines dropped 2.5 to 5%. Defense stocks are rallying on this conflict news, with Lockheed Martin, RTX, Northrop, L3, Harris each jumping 4 to 5%. Next week we get the FOMC meeting. It's still pretty probable that we're going to pause rates this month, next month, and then it looks like in September we're going to start cutting. The University of Michigan consumer sentiment drops in about 1 hour. It's expected at 54 for consumer sentiment data. If we take a look at the inflation expectation guidelines here for an hour from now, the University of Michigan consumer sentiment inflation expectations, last time they showed up at 6.6% for 1 year and 4.2% for 5-year inflation expectations. Consumer sentiment last time showed up at 52.2. They're expecting it today at 53.5. We'll see if that influences markets. Outside of this stuff, we also have some stock news. Like, we have Micron investing $200 billion in U.S. chip making that could shift semiconductor supply. Adobe beat but still dipped in pre-market. Chime debuted. I think they're... Look at Apple right at 200. Chime debuted and IPO'd, and it's sitting at $37 a share for CHYM is the symbol for Chime. Oil hit 2-month highs. Gold is up this morning. The dollar also climbed higher this morning as well. Despite futures falling, indices are still near record highs. Oil and Fed, along with geotensions, are core drivers. So that is the market news. And again, oil's kind of at a sweet spot. Like, oil, they want oil to live between $60 and $90 a barrel. Sweet spot's roughly $78 a barrel. Below 60 hurts profitability for producers. Above 90 squeezes consumers, sparks backlash, and risks a boom and bust oversupply. Keeping it between 60 and 90, ideally around 78, strikes the balance that makes everybody happy by supporting energy, keeping the consumer pain in check. And oil sitting right now as we speak at 74, almost at the sweet spot here. We got a little dip. Let's see what happens at 643s. Yeah, I mean, Carvana already recently dropped pretty big, but yeah, I mean, it's had a huge run. It's getting close to all-time highs, though, at 376. That's the only issue I have with it. Yeah, if we look at bonds, bond prices are down a little bit over the last few minutes, but yields, that means yields are higher. And one of the things that happened is that bond prices spiked and yields dipped on this conflict news. But at the same time now, we're starting to see some dips in bond prices, which means spikes in yields. If we look at TNX here, yields are up 4.38% for 10-year. All right, guys. So we are dipping down. We're at 643s, 642s now. So we did break under 645s. Let's see if we hold, though. We're still right at this level here. There's a big spike. Most things are lower pre-bell. Let's talk about all right, so let's give a full breakdown in markets right now. Middle East tensions, U.S. Michigan sentiment data, Baker Hughes rig count. Energy, gold, and defense stocks are up. Travel and hospitality stocks are under pressure, of course. We got the June University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations due today. Adobe beat earnings, raised guidance. Stock is kind of slow. Apple led phone sales in China for May, boosted exports from India to avoid tariffs. Tesla raised U.S. prices of Model X by 5,000. DocuSign upgraded at Wells Fargo on favorable valuations. Robinhood beat quarter one EPS, guided by a strong quarter two and full year. Boeing is facing investigations again. And so that's basically it. Thermo Fisher exploring $4 billion divestiture of diagnostics. AstraZeneca signed a $5.2 billion research and development deal. GSK seeks European Union expansion. Downgraded on valuation concerns of GEV. Archer Aviation raised $850 million after a big order. And next decade LNG infrastructure deal worth $9 billion. Visa, MasterCard, Amex under pressure after reports Walmart, Amazon, and airlines might issue their own stablecoins. So this is the market news this morning. Effective federal funds rate again, 4.33%. Hasn't really changed much. Yeah, so we got Robinhood. What else we got? Bunch of other stuff. DocuSign. All right, so we just posted this on our x.com page at Beginner Trades if you want a full breakdown of everything going on in finance. Markets are kind of slow right now. A Reuters poll says BCB is going to hold the benchmark rate at 14.75% on June 18th. BCB is Benchmark Community Bank. They're going to hold the benchmark rate at 14.75 on June 18th. According to 27 out of 39 surveyed. 12 see a 25 basis point hike. Market's choppy now. Oh, this is the Brazilian Central Bank. I'm sorry. Man, they're at 15%. I thought this was a Benchmark Community Bank. No, this is the Brazilian Central Bank. My bad. 15%. I was wondering. I was like, 15%. I was like, what market? I was sitting there like 15%, man. What market is doing that? So apparently there's sirens that were reportedly sounded in Israel's north. It's breaking news right now. We'll see if that turns into anything. All right, guys, we got 21 minutes left till market open. Still testing this level that we got on our charts right here. I'm not really interested in anything here. We're too close to the open, and I think yeah, man, we take a look at the 10-year. 10 years right here. This is the 10-year yield. It's at 4.38%, 4.38. Yeah. I don't know if I'm bullish or bearish. I did a poll this morning. It looks like 60% think markets are going to rebound from their overnight retracements this morning. 41% say no. 59% say yes. I have no idea what the market's going to do, guys. No idea. And especially the opening bell is incredibly variance heavy, so nobody freaking knows really what we're going to get. We could speculate on it, but nobody knows. All right, so there's a dip. We're at 643s. Let me try shorting a little baby piece here. I'm worried we're going to stay choppy, but we'll take one. Little feeler trade here. Okay, good. Add maybe to this. Take half off there, lock that in. Hold the rest break even maybe. Definitely some red action showing up here. I'm wondering if it's from the siren news that we covered. Yeah, I'm going to cut it right there, break even. Made a little bit of money on that trade, so that's good. Do I want to short into this little pop here? Thinking about it, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'll short here. This is close enough to the 200 EMA. All right, Bank of America sees a path for gold to rally $4,000 an ounce over the next 12 months. I'll try to add to this, see if we can get really green ahead of the opening bell. We're basically flat right now. Let's see if we can go green. We got the opening bell in 15 minutes or so. We're right at the 200 EMA. That's why I'm shorting here. I'm basically betting that we're going to get choppiness leading into the open. There we go. I'm going to take some off here. Lock more in. And maybe add a little bit back if it retraces. There's the retracement. We'll add right back to that. There we go. Take that off. There we go. Yes, sir. We'll add a little piece to this. I wanted to break down more, but I'm going to cover it mostly break even though, if it doesn't. Yeah, we'll cut it there. Let's see what we want to do with the rest of this. I guess we could short a little bit more deeper into this. There we go. Nice. Let's see if we get a little bit more from this here. We'll hold the rest break even again. We got two. We've had a really nice string of green trades. Like the last multiple trades are green, and we made money. All right, so we are now green on the day too after this. Took us a little while, but we got the opening bell at 13 minutes. We've only had 4 losing trades, or 3 losing trades out of the last 20. Do you see us retesting night lows? I really don't know. Sometimes I'm trading challenge accounts, which is something I've been trading most of the morning, but other times I'm trading funded accounts. So it just depends on any given moment and what I'm trading here. I could be trading different things. Should have held that short. I'm still kind of mad about it. Like, if it's pre-market, a lot of the time you see me trading like challenge accounts, trying to limit risk. Once we hit the opening bell, I usually pivot to funded accounts. Yeah, market opens up in 12 minutes. I don't know about the Michigan report. We'll see. Doesn't matter what I'm trading. Most of my stream is economics and market news. All right, so we're retracing back up here. Let's see if we hold. All right, we're at 625. So look at this drop. Something happened. There's probably some news. Let's see if we can find it. Look at this drop. We came right back down to my level, though. Look at this level, dude. Top 3 greatest levels of all time ever in the world right now. Look at that. See next week's calendar of events, the Fed says. Yeah, we got the Fed meeting. Look at that rebound back up here. Whoa. Interesting. Maybe we're just close to the open. It's only a funded account program. Is it Friday the 13th? It is, bro. And again, if you want to check out Topstep, you can check out the link in the chat or the description, pinned to the top of the chat or the description. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose, right? And again, I'm biased because they're a sponsor of mine. I'm a partner of theirs, so I'm biased, of course, but genuinely good for traders in my subjective opinion. Genuinely good for traders. Most day traders lose their first few accounts, so you can either risk your own account, 5, 10, 20, 30 grand, whatever you want to do, and probably lose it, or you can risk $50 for the base Topstep account. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. In futures, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. You get to keep your first 10K in profit and then 90% split afterwards. And if you fail, you're out $50. So it's limited risk, similar reward. It's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But again, I'm biased. But if you want to check them out, check the links out. Again, description. There's a link. There's more. We got a rebound right here at 625. I'm looking at 643 now, though, to see what's going to happen here. 10 minutes left. And again, I don't even claim to be a good trader. I'm still trying to see if there's any breaking news that drive this market down real quick, but I don't really see much. I think it was just a big candle all of a sudden. All right, so we're right back up here. My hands are kind of off. We're finally green on this on the day, but all right, 7 minutes left. I use Robinhood, and I'm really wanting to try day trading futures. I got 30K in my account. I would learn in a funded account. If it was me, I wouldn't risk that 30K trying to day trade a new market. That's incredibly risky. That's why like stuff like this is valuable, is because it's cheaper, lower barrier of entry, and you can experiment with futures and try to learn that way versus funding your own account. You're still probably going to lose, but it's a lot cheaper to lose a Topstep account than it is your own $30,000 account, which is the nature of value of Topstep in general, you know. Oh, I usually trade a little bit of a mix of both, Michelle. So I trade the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 10 minute. I got a bunch of charts up. I have a 49-inch ultra wide monitor that y'all can't see underneath me. I put the 1 minute chart up so you can watch the shortest price action possible. But we trade a bunch of different charts, to be honest. Right, exactly, MC. But again, I'm biased because, again, I get paid by them, so, you know. All right, we're still big range choppy. We got 5 minutes left, chat. 5 minutes left. Let me know in chat if you're bullish or bearish. Look at this drop showing up here, too. I could short this little retracement up here. I'll wait. Bro, I'm just saying, look, I'm just going to brag about some of my coding. I call this one trend power. Look at this. I call this one trend power. Look at this. Sell here, dip. Buy signal here, rip. Buy signal here, rip. Sell signal literally at the top, dip. Buy signal here, rip. Sell signal here, dip. I'm like John Madden over here. Whoa, I just clicked a button. No, go out of there. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right, look at the ripping markets right now, though. Wow, markets ripping up. Yeah, it's an ultra wide monitor. I've showed you guys pictures of it. Look at the market fly up here. Here's 664s. See if we got any breaking news or whether the market's just running just to run. Gold prices surged over $34.50 an ounce and now staying less than 2% away from all-time highs. All right, so the president is speaking. He said to the Wall Street Journal, the attack would be great for the market because they will not have the weapons that they're worried about. He said the U.S. was aware of the plans. All right, so we're over 664s now. Let's watch 675. Gold's climbing with the market, though, which is another interesting nuance that we've seen over the last few days. Yeah, I think you could take... you want to confirm it with them, tall, but you could probably trade on mobile. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't ever do it because it's kind of hard to day trade mobily, but still. Yeah, I mean, MC, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm not really... I've told people before I don't really base my trades around these signals, but it's about whether the signals work or not. All right, Microsoft just ripped. I think this is what's driving markets is Microsoft. Where's Apple? Let me take a look. Apple's kind of flat here. It's testing 2. Can't quite get over it, but Microsoft is ripping. Hey, we got 2 minutes left until the opening bell. Yeah, we should have listened to all the gold spammers saying buy gold during the Fed meeting. They might have been right, honestly. Hey, what's up, Kay? Thanks for the dono, brother. Appreciate it. I'm doing it on your phone, Michelle. It's hard to move your stop loss and take profit. I'm doing it on your phone, though. I'm assuming that's a mistake. I think you probably meant to say it's hard to move your stop and take profit if you're doing it on your phone, though, is probably what you're trying to say. And if so, I agree with that statement. We're up to almost 675s here. Over 664s, testing 675s. All right, guys, we're heading into the opening bell. We got less than a minute, and then we got Michigan consumer data after the bell. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the opening bell. 40 seconds. 40 seconds left. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Market is ripping up here. See if we hold up here. Market's trying. It's a little too close to the opening bell for me to want to day trade. I'm going to wait, but still, market's flying up ahead of it. Ugh. I don't know why I keep yawning this morning. All right, there's the open. Let's see what market gives us. Here's Apple, Nvidia. All right, so we're seeing moves up in markets at the opening bell here. NASDAQ's pushing. Hit 7s just now on the NASDAQ here. This is mostly driven by Google up to 175s. Nvidia ripped at 143s at the open. I'll put this up. Look at Nvidia. NASDAQ surging over 700s. Just broke highs of the day. Gold dipping down a little bit. Nvidia is really trying to make a move up. Let's see if it continues. The symbol on my left screen is the micro NASDAQ. All right, so we just, again, ripped over 725s here. Still pumping up pretty big, pretty fast. Wow. Huge green action in the opening bell here. Surging right now in markets chat, surging. Up to 750s. Nvidia up to 143s. Google up to 175.20s. Microsoft up to 478s. Look at the surge in NASDAQ. I don't trade the open because of this. This is just too crazy. Honestly, though, look at my signal here. I'm just saying, I should have listened to it. Look at this. Buy signal here. Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, I can't really say bad here. Right? Look at that. Almost called the exact highs and tops, man. I'll keep digging into it, but yeah. Not too bad here. We're at 775s right now. All right, so we still got to wait a couple minutes before we trade. Nvidia is now dipping down some. All right, guys. NASDAQ is pumping up to 775s here. 775s. We're up to 760s right now. Sheesh, bro. This is a big move. And I don't want to short it because it's too big. It's too momentum heavy. You know? All right, guys. So we are almost to 21.8K. Nvidia is now pulling back, though. So Nvidia is dipping down. Google is what's been surging up, but a lot of pullbacks are starting to show up right now in markets. We're getting close to where we could want to trade. You know, we're getting close. Here's 750s. Here's Nvidia coming back down. And remember, we got the consumer sentiment and inflation data. All right, so now we're dipping down some here. Let's see if it holds. All right, so now we're pulling back. I think a lot of people expected a pullback. Should you buy the dip here? If we get down to 725s, I will buy this. But I need 725s here first, I think. We need a dip. I'm going to wait. Gold, push it up, pump it up here. All right, so again, guys, we are going to be day trading. We got the University of Michigan consumer sentiment data coming out soon. Yeah, we got consumer sentiment data coming out soon. I still need a dip. We got the 725 dip. I'm trying to prepare the stream for the Michigan data. We got the 725 dip. It didn't quite get there, but it was probably good enough for me to buy it. It's all right. All right. Right back up. I'm still got a little foam on it by the dip, but it's all right. Yeah, should have taken it, but it's all right. Let's see if we get another pullback that I'll attack. All right, there we go. All right, we're up to 775s. Testing highs of the day again. Wish I would have bought the dip. All right, we are up there here. All right, we just broke highs up to 790s. We're watching 8s. I might start to short this a little bit here, just a little bit. We'll try. It's a little risky for sure, but we'll take. We're green on the day. I think we've gone up enough to maybe make some money on the short side. We'll see. I'll add a little piece to this. There we go. Yes, sir. All right. Hold the rest break even. Get out the rest there. All right, we got a nice little cushion on this account, so we'll see if we can keep grinding this up. Let me switch to my actual funded account, though. I've been trading a challenge account all morning. I want to actually trade here, so give me a second here, chat. The question is, does the market chop into this? We're right around highs here. It's the only reason I'm a little nervous about shorting. But like, I've got into a couple short positions and it has just kind of ripped up in my face here. Sometimes it's not a bad idea. Like, a long looks almost too easy, but sometimes the momentum picks it up and we just run. And so I'm just going to sit and see if we get a little dip. We got Michigan data in 18 minutes here, chat. 18 minutes. So I'm trying to be smart. Yeah, y'all be careful. It's Friday the 13th. We got Michigan prelim consumer sentiment and inflation expectation data dropping in 17 minutes. Chat, 17 minutes. We're sitting really close to highs of the day, really close to 21.8. But again, a long looks almost too easy. And sometimes when something looks too obvious, it goes the opposite way. People get squeezed out. And so we'll see if that happens here. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to short it because I think shorting it's super risky as well. So I'm going to remove this level here, I think. 65. Even though I think I played that level a couple times. But maybe I was looking at 665, not 765. I like 75 a little bit better here. And then 50 is here. So if we dip down to 50, maybe I'll buy it. All right, we're getting close to highs again. I wanted 50. We didn't quite get it. It got down to 55. And now we're kind of sideways here. Maybe the market's waiting for Michigan data. AMD's pumping up. Nvidia's 143s right now. So Nvidia kind of looks strong, honestly. But look at that pullback here. So we had a big dip here. That's what I was kind of worried about, is this data getting kind of squeezed out. All these longs getting squeezed out. It's a big retracement back down there, though. We got 25 down there too. That might be interesting. And that challenge account, we're up about 540 on the day. I haven't seen anything I like enough on my actual funded account yet. So we got 13 minutes left. I wasn't really mad yesterday. Might have been tired. I traveled all day to the day before. But I was in a pretty good mood. I don't think I was in a bad mood. We'll see if Nvidia holds here, though. That's the big question. Nvidia's trying. Look how sideways it is. And Nvidia is just kind of skirting here. I think the whole market's kind of waiting for Michigan data. And so maybe like the market is going to stagnate a little bit, waiting for this data to release. I don't know. Michigan data drops in 13 minutes, chat. 13 minutes, so just be ready. See, I wanted to buy 750s. It got down to 740. They're 738s or so. I was looking to see if the market bounces here, but it started to, it looks like. Let's see if it holds. Retrace back up. All right, guys, we got a couple minutes left before Michigan data releases here. I'm worried the market's going to really just chop into the Michigan data in 10 minutes here, so that's kind of what I'm worried about. Let's see if we can buy like 725s. I might buy right here. But the market's really rangy ahead of Michigan data. I don't know if I'm feeling optimistic. Red shirt bearish John. Hat backwards bearish John. Well, yesterday was a big data day where we had PPI inflation data, so I was probably just trying to stay. Today I could joke around more when there's not much to do, right? Like most of today, except for the Michigan data, has been like boring. And so if I joked around more today, it's probably because I didn't have anything else to do. All right, guys, we got Michigan data in 11 minutes. 11 minutes. I think I forgot to hit save. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes left until the Michigan data releases. 10 minutes. We're kind of sided, like chopping out of the market right now. Beard John, Palantir pumping. We need Viking John. It was a good day not to trade after yesterday at 11 a.m. All right, guys. Nvidia up to 144s almost. 144s. Microsoft at 478. Carvana at 300s. AMD at 116s. We just broke highs of the day ahead of the Michigan data here. We broke highs and then we just dumped down here. Let's see if we retrace back up or do something here. Wow. We broke highs and then dropped huge points. Crazy. Yikes. Let's see if we get back up there now. Ahead of the Michigan data. It should, in theory, be flat and choppy ahead of the data, but we don't really know. Right, we should, in theory, be flat and choppy ahead of this report. But again, we don't really know. We broke highs for a second. And we're kind of just moving really volatile. We got 8 minutes left. Do you guys think the Michigan data will help or hurt the markets? I should have done a poll about it, but it's all right. Again, we're very stagnant, very sideways. Only a couple minutes before Michigan data drops, so we got some time, but I'm trying to like attack a choppy sideways range here. Hey, see you, Sam. Have a good day. I don't think the market cares about that. Well, they do care about the conflict news more than the Michigan data for sure. It depends on how good or bad the data shows up as. Like, if we get much higher inflation expectations than expected, that might make the market go down. If we get much worse inflation expectations, or much lower inflation expectations than expected, that might make the market go up. And if consumer sentiment is high, it might be good. If consumer sentiment is low, it might be bad. It also could be vice versa, depending on if the market fears inflation a significant amount. If consumer sentiment is higher, could cause inflation worry sometimes. It's very nuanced. All right, I'll do a poll real quick. Are you bullish or bearish on today's consumer sentiment report? All right, vote on the poll. The poll is now live. NASDAQ starting to dip down here. Market started to retrace back up. Let's see if it does. Started to rip back up. Look at that 627.25 level. I did buy it in my challenge account, but we're going to yet to trade on our main one today. Google pushing up, testing highs of the day. We got 4 minutes left. Yeah, I have no idea. Market breadth is negative. VIX is at 19. Yeah, I mean, the VIX is definitely higher over the conflict news today. It was at 20 earlier, so it's actually decreased a little bit, but all right, guys. We have 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. I trade Forex on my phone daily, stocks not so much. All right, we have less than 3 minutes. All right, let's watch 725s. I mean, the levels that I draw here seem to work fairly well. What do you guys think of the levels? Like I have a system that I use to create these levels, and they seem to be pretty solid. Like, the market seems to respect them. It doesn't respect them every time, but it seems to react to the levels. And I use a mix of like quarter dollars, whole dollars, milestone areas, the 200 exponential, confirmed support and resistance, and more to build these. They're manually drawn. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream chat. We have 2 minutes left until this report drops. Yeah, definitely top 3 greatest levels and worst of all time ever. Define dinosaur. All right, we're at 3,500s here, guys. We got a minute and 20 seconds left. A minute and 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. All right, we're at 7:25s. Here we go. We got 1 minute left, chat. 1 minute. All right, here we go, guys. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. This timer's actually pretty spot on, but I'll pause it anyway so it doesn't disturb my announcement of this data here. Again, Michigan data drops in about 25 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream. Consumer sentiment expected at 53.5. 53.5 today for consumer sentiment. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the report. All right, consumer sentiment 60.5, better than expected. 60.5, better than expected. Lower inflation expectations than last time. Higher consumer sentiment at 60.5. 60.5 consumer sentiment, way better than expected here. And this is good, of course. Way better than expected. Consumer sentiment, way better than expected. Yeah, pretty good data here, guys. Again, higher than expected consumer sentiment. Prelim 60.5 versus 53 expected. Again, better than expected data. Market has reacted positively to it, but it initially came back down here. So again, better than expected data here. $60.5 versus 53.5 expected. Lower inflation expectations than last time as well here. So I'll put this data up on screen. This is what I'm saying. Somebody was like, I guarantee it's worse than expected. This is why you don't guarantee things, because nobody freaking knows. Market didn't really react too much, but here's the consumer sentiment numbers right here at the bottom. 5-year inflation expectations, 4.1%. Last time they were 4.2%. 1 year at 5.1%. Previously, they were 6.6%. So better than expected consumer sentiment. The market did initially react positive, but still. All right, let's see if we react positively to this report. Part of me wants to buy it, but we'll see. It seems to be better, but we'll give it time. I'll put up this. We're pretty close to getting funded in this account, so I'll try to finish this and see if I can get funded today. But we're pretty close, honestly. Buying this dip, we are about $400 away. Add to this on the dip. Maybe add to a pullback here if we get one. We won't need to. All right, we're out of that one. Yeah, I mean, we are up over 800 on this one on the day. We need about $400 left. So we're going to scale down our size. We're going to take 5 contracts max. Unless we're deep green here, deep green. And we're going to try to get into some good trades here. Based off of the muted reaction to the initial consumer sentiment. This could turn markets. Let's see if we get some better stuff here. We're green. There we go. We'll try to hold the rest break even here. All right, we're out of the rest. I was gonna buy this dip. Let's see if I can. I was going to. It retraced too fast. You get better than expected consumer sentiment. I'll buy 5 contracts right here. We got a very quick pop, so we're gonna take profit into that pop that we just got. So we can keep going with this little baby micro contract. I'm not trying to buy and hold. That's not what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to... All right, we cut it. Yeah, so I'm trying to let you guys watch, see if I get funded in this one. I'm right at this level that I have drawn now. Powell doesn't speak today, no. Not from my understanding. I mean, I'll check, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Usually that's something I would know about, and people would have that scheduled, but I don't think he speaks today. Not unless it's like a surprise. It's probably in a blackout period ahead of the FOMC meeting next week, to be honest. Is what I'm guessing. So. Should have bought that dip like I wanted. But we'll give it a second. We'll buy this little retracement here. Add to it if we go green. There we go. Immediately start taking some off here. Maybe add back on a dip. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're only about $300 away now. Small little gains. My level's holding up. 625 is where we bought, and we're gonna cut it before we get to 750 or 725. We're gonna cut it before we get to 750. Not gonna lie, I'm really confused by the reaction. Well, it's kind of a muted reaction, to be honest. I'm gonna start with one micro contract at this bottom. See if we pop back up, and then we'll add to it if we get green in it. If not, we'll just wait. These drops are so fast, but I want to see if we retrace back up. And I'm going to cut some of this here just to protect it. There we go. Too quick of pullbacks there. So we got out basically flat on that one. I probably could have held it, but I don't know if this is the best price action to finish this. I need $300. I think I'm just going to wait until Monday, to be completely honest. Like, I would have continued trading this if we would have gotten something, but it's Friday, and this is basically the price action we got. And so I don't want to be I don't want to be too risk tolerant here and just, you know. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to wait here, guys. Again, if you want to check out Topstep, a beautiful way to learn how to trade. Most day traders lose money, right? So if they give you a 50K demo, you're still risking something. It's $50 a month for a 50K demo. If you can make 3K in profit on that demo, it's a challenge. Learning how to trade in a structured environment like this makes sense. If you can make 3K in profit on the demo without losing 2K first, following their rules and conditions, and you want to confirm it all with them, I can't guarantee anything. They fund you 50K, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. And so that's kind of like the best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward to funding your own account. Most day traders lose. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are about to lose their first couple accounts. And so you can either fund your own account trying to look cool in markets and lose that, most likely, at least. Almost most day traders do. I did, at least. Or you can limit your risk. Similar reward to funding your own account if you can pass the test anyway. And they pay out millions and millions of dollars. They fund thousands. They have some of the best rules in the game in funding. And it's just a beautiful way to learn. If you use my link, go to TopstepX. You get 0 commission. Just a great way to learn. Great way to learn. TopstepX, great platform as well. You can check out the link pinned to the top of the chat as well as in the description. And yeah. Yeah, y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to risk my fund today. I've already got it up to, I need 3K. I've got it up to 20. What am I at right now? I got up to $2,700 basically in this challenge account. And I need 300 to get funded in it. So I'm just going to wait. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be safe in markets. Have a great weekend. Be good. I'll see you guys next time. Y'all stay safe. Happy Father's Day to all my dads out there. Hey, happy Father's Day to all my dads out there. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy. Sleep. No grass cutting on Father's Day.